Welcome to Traders of Money, the podcast where the secrets of trading success is unraveled one expert at a time. I'm Jordan Meller, your host into the fascinating world of trading. Each episode, we dive in with a seasoned trader to uncover their secrets, their strategies, and their unforgettable trades. Today, I want to introduce you to a remarkable figure in the world of trading. Richard Wells is renowned for an internal change from learning to adjust while being a trader, but also learning to apply these skills in a data prolific manner. With 6 years in the trading trenches, he began his journey after Googling how to invest, and that just makes him one of us. So let's dive in and learn from the best. Welcome to Traders of Money, Rich. We're excited to have you with us.
Thank you ever so much. I've been waiting my whole life for an introduction like that. It finally comes, and my head has just expanded fairly. So, Jordan, you're a
That's
gentleman. I
fantastic.
appreciate it.
That's fantastic. I like starting these off a little bit light, a little bit easy for you. Okay, so I'm gonna throw a curveball as I do at the start of these interviews. Can you tell the trading world an unexpected fact about yourself that people may not know?
Love the curveball. Unexpected fact about me that you may not know.
It doesn't have to be trading related. Just
Okay.
something out there that you think the trading world might not know about Rich. What is it?
Okay. Coming into trading prior to that, I was a mechanic for 14 years. That was my life experience. That was the thing that I leaned into and said, let's see how this measures up to trading. And I can tell you, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
There's no lessons you've carried over.
No, not conscious ones. I'm sure there's stuff that's in there somewhere, but a lot of the trading experience, I had to start at ground zero, build my way back up, and kind of learn a lot of new stuff and unlearn some stuff at the same time.
Yeah, I like it. Get out of some old habits and build some new ones. Trading requires it. I like it. So let's talk a little bit about your trading journey then. 6 years you've been trading, and I know you're an FX and indices trader as well. Great question just to start us off. The moment things kind of clicked, all right, I like to call it the aha moment. Have you experienced one, two, three? Can you share your experience of when you've had an aha moment in trading?
Yeah, sure. So I think the important with clicking moments is for me, it wasn't there was one moment that just changed my trading. It was a series of events, and every event would compound and stand on the shoulders of the event that happened prior to it. So I've been trading full time for somewhere between 5 and 6 years. I mean, after a while, I run out of fingers and toes, and I can't count that high. But it's what happened is after about 2 years, I I had this moment where I was able to look at the charts technically, and it was everything I'm thinking, if only I can read the market. There's something that I don't understand when I look at the charts, and I need to understand that one thing. And it was this simple thing called order blocks. And that was it. I was off for 6 months learning everything I could about order blocks. I heard the phrase order block. I saw what one was. I never fully grasped it. And I never really watched another YouTube video afterwards. I was on the charts, marking up every single one, everyone by color. I was saying, what if it's in the Asia session? What if it's in the London session? What if it's in the US session? And surely there's a relationship there. And I went down this deep rabbit hole for probably 6 months to figure out that there was something to it, but I just couldn't find out how to trade it profitably. So that was my first clicking moment. And then doing that dive into what is it about this thing that sometimes price will hold at these points. I was then able to have my second clicking moment and my third and my fourth. And yeah, there was many sort of down periods between that. But that was the moment that price started to make a little bit of sense to me.
Talk to me about order block. What do you mean by order block?
Okay, so I think it's an ICT term where order block, well, it probably comes from somewhere else, but that's where I picked it up from. And I was like, okay, order block. And then we have this thing called breaker block. Now, I'm not going to break down what I believe those to be, because there'll be some fanboy that just says, no, you're totally wrong about it. For me, it's supply and demand trading. And I didn't
Yep.
realize that until probably um, 3 years into my trading journey, that the markets to me represent the human footprint of decision points where people or algos decide to do something. So I'm going to lean into those points and I'm going to try and formulate a story and execute my trades based on what makes sense to me. And it's been a real evolution, but it was that starting point and that narrative then fed into how I trade today, which I mean we could fill up a 12-hour stream just trying to break down one trade and the reason behind it. But it like I say, it stands on the shoulders of the studies that I've done prior.
All right. Well, at risk of going for a 12-hour long episode here, can you talk to me about an unforgettable trade? There's usually a few trades, and the terminology I like to use with traders understanding these trades is it a scar or is it a tattoo? Is
Okay.
it one you're really proud of, or is it one that's hurt you? Is there an unforgettable trade in Rich's book?
Yeah, it's a tattoo.
It's a
So
tattoo. Fantastic.
it
All
is
right,
a
we're
tattoo.
positive. We're positive. Yeah. So let's talk about this tattoo.
Okay, it's a tattoo that masks a scar.
Oh,
That's how I would explain it. So to me, I look at this as one of my biggest successes in trading. It's actually my biggest financial loss, and it came after about a year and a half in the markets. And I thought that I knew what I was doing. And I was trading without stop losses. My size was too big. Now, you can trade without stops if your size is very, very proportionate to your account. And typically, you're trading with very small size, and you cannot hold on to losses for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pips. Well, this is what I was doing, and I was trading with size. I was trading with leverage, and I was putting a little bit too much pressure on the account, and I was mean reversal trading, hoping that stuff would come back. And the reason I say this is a tattoo is because finally price never came back, and I took a loss that I thought I'd never come back from. I had a week away from trading. I remember genuinely crying and just thinking, what on earth have I done? The loss was compounded because I put more money in the account. I continued to trade on it, and the price just continued driving against me. And for the time prior, the markets kept coming back, and I thought, this is going to come back. If I can hang on to it for long enough, it'll come back. And it did, but it was about 6 months later. And I was out of that trade after about, I think, 6 or 7 days. And it was horrendous. Every day I'd wake up and my account was down another 1,000. And this is real money. We're not talking prop trading. We're talking about money in the real world that was earned through a 9 to 5 job. And it was hard to replace. So I valued that, and I was overconfident. I managed to make some great gains. So I was like, okay, let's keep doing this. And eventually I lost because I didn't know what I was doing. So I had that early success. And that the reason I say that that trade is by far the best ever trade is because it taught me something. So that scar isn't a useless scar that's just a painful memory from the past. It's a tattoo that I proudly wear, and I draw strength from that because I look at it and say, this is the experience that makes that foundation that I now stand on. I never want to experience that pain again. So I now look at that as a almost a bar to entry into the markets to say, you know
mm.
what, that's my rite to passage. I think most traders have a moment where they have to change what they're doing or they're going to go to ruin. And fortunately, that was my moment, and it happened as quick as in the first 18 to 24 months of trading. And I think what would have been more damaging is if it happened after 3 years or 4 years and I got limited success and then run the risk of ruin. Happened nice and early. I was able to get over that, reassess what I was doing, change my approach, and I'll happily talk about it to anyone because had I not have been through that, I wouldn't be this trader that I am today. So it is a tattoo. It is something that I'm very pleased happened, although at the time it felt like a scar. So I use that to elevate my trading today.
It's such a we have a very similar story in how I felt, and I always say to myself, well, I want no one to experience what I had to experience when I did very similar thing, right? And had this ridiculous loss, which I shouldn't have had. The risk management wasn't there. I wouldn't be the trader I am today if I didn't have that loss. So part of me always goes, well, I think traders need to experience that horrible punch in the gut and just genuinely physically sick from some of the decisions that we make in our time and the losses that we get. I wouldn't be the trader today if
Yeah.
I didn't go through that, if I didn't experience that pain, if I wasn't terrified of going through it again just because of how
Yeah.
uncomfortable I was. And it sounds like you're the same.
But that you touched on something there. You said punch in the gut. Do you agree that you did that to yourself?
Absolutely.
And that was my turning point, was accepting that I'm responsible for the results I'm getting. Market doesn't care about me. And as soon as I made that connection that the market isn't doing this to me, I'm doing this to myself. We wouldn't actively walk out in front of traffic. We wouldn't harm ourselves, yet we come to the market and we're not, like, we become emotionally compromised and we make these decisions that, looking back, you go, what on earth are you doing? That's
Mm.
illogical. You would never do this. You wouldn't encourage a loved one to do this, yet you're doing it to yourself. And it's, money has a way of kind of taking us to a place where we make really dumb decisions. And so that kind of brings me into that psychology point of just, I love trading for learning more about myself and deeper understanding the way I go about things. And that happened nice and early.
Yeah, you touched on something there as well about blame. You touched on this idea that we blame the market, yet if we walked in front of traffic, we wouldn't blame the car for hitting us. If we jumped in a ring with a raging bull, we wouldn't blame the bull for hitting us, right? Like, it's our fault for being there. Yet when we go to the market, we get involved in the market, but we'll blame the market for hitting a stop loss, or at least a lot of people do. Can you expand more on that, on how you see that?
Yeah, I think if you're at the side of the road and you're going to step out in front of traffic, you wouldn't do it because you know it's damaging. But if you had a dozen of your friends there and family members there, and they were cheering you on and they were saying, "Look, get across that road, and you'll be the man. You'll get this social acceptance, and you'll be amazing." And I think this is the thing with trading, is we only think about that upside. If I get in here, I'm going to make a whole lot of money. We don't accept that risk. We don't think about what happens if our stop loss is actually hit. And so many times the decisions that I was making early on, they were all driven by greed. I think I can make money here. I think I can get in here. A lot of the time there was no technical analysis. It was just me going, "Cool, this has dropped. What goes down will come back up again."
Mm.
And it was like, do I trade like this now? Absolutely not. So I'm always looking at the market. I'm saying, okay, what's my risk? Am I going to accept this? How do I accept this? Because for me to get in, I'm a professional risk manager and I'm looking at managing that risk. I trade companies' capital and I want to make sure that I'm being responsible with that, because I pride myself on sustainable long-term relationships. I'm not interested in quick cash grabs. I'm interested in managing that risk, showing consistency, and being efficient in the way I do it. And it's a never-ending journey of just constant self-improvement. I really enjoy it. If you can't tell, sorry, I'm off on one.
It's very mature. It's a very mature way of thinking about trading, and it's all about longevity, right? And I can appreciate you understanding that. Let's talk a little bit more on the trading world, and I want to dive into trading advice. There is a lot of trading advice out there. All right, we live in the golden era of social media where there is advice left, right, and center. Is there a popular piece of advice that you've heard throughout your journey, or you hear still today, which you disagree with?
So there's all like the cliche ones, all the obvious ones. Manage your risk, don't FOMO, don't be greedy, trade well, all that kind of stuff. And that's been around since the markets have been opened. And everyone was saying that when I got into trading. I didn't want to hear none of that. What I wanted to hear was signal services, was copy
Mm.
trading, was all that kind of stuff. So although might not be conventional advice, it's something that's pushed in this industry, because for me, I thought if I can find a profitable trader and they can help me learn how to trade, I'll be able to be self-sustainable. But in my search for trying to find people who genuinely knew what they were talking about, the opportunity to copy trades, just there was probably 10 people trying to sell you something and only one person trying to physically help you. And I'm like, I want to put in the work. I don't want the easy route. I don't want to sit down and you fill up my plate. I want to go out. I want to hunt. I want to gather that, and I want to cook it for myself. Like, can you help me out here? And every opportunity was just people saying, "We'll sell you signals. We'll sell you a course. We'll sell you a mentorship." And it wasn't what I wanted, because I knew that I was just lining their pockets and building their business. And I was on this journey to kind of learn for myself. So I think if I could sort of lean into what's the one thing I disagree with, I disagree with copy trading, signal services. I think they don't work. I can show you my trades, and I'm pretty confident you won't make money with them. Because, and I'm going to joke and say because I don't make money with them, because it's a personal thing, right?
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that how we trade, and this is totally boring, but we need to make sure that how we trade resonates with us and fits us. You don't put on your sister's shoes and go walking in them. You put on your own. You find out what fits you, and then you go hiking and you go and put in that time. And that's the kind of thing I lean into with trading.
You have an incredible way of understanding, or at least explaining, the things that you're surrounded by. You almost I walk through life with always ask why. It's my main motto. Ask everything why. I feel like you have the answer to most of the things around you. You've asked why and you understand it. So I wanted to just throw this random question at you, just because I'm genuinely curious. What is it in your strategy, right? We're going to go deep in here, or at least in your trading, that you think gives you your best edge?
Me. And it's such a cliche answer, and I will expand on it. When you do something, could be ride a bike, you get on, you fall off. You get on, you fall off. You get back on, you fall off again. Eventually, you're going to reach a point where you manage to go 20 foot and you stay on that thing. And you give that enough time, you'll be able to wheelie that and do stunts on it and tricks on it and all sorts of stuff. And my best trading edge comes from all those tiny, subtle nuances that I've just seen from watching the markets for thousands of hours. One of the people I used to work closely with about 3 years ago, he said, and I said to him, I said, you're a really good trader. Where did you learn what you've learned? He said, I just sat down for years and I watched price. I was like, that doesn't help me. I don't know what to do with this. And he just kept saying the same thing. Sit down and just watch price. And that's what I did. I sat down, and we're talking probably close to 6 years. Now, 6 years at a full-time employment rate is like 2,000 hours a year. That's 12,000 hours. I can promise you I'm probably up to 16 or 17,000 hours now that I've put into this. Now, if we say at a minimum wage, £10 an hour, that's £160,000 of labor that I've put into developing my trading, developing myself, learning about the markets, working on my psychology, learning about risk management, learning about the prop models, how to position myself within this industry. Now, this is the question that I think if I would have gone back and asked myself and said, hey, Rich, would you happily give away nearly £200,000, that's $250,000 worth of labor to learn your craft? I would have said, absolutely no way. But the beauty with trading was there was always these false peaks. I could always see just, you know what, just another 5 hours work and I'm going to discover this next thing. And I've discovered this next thing. And I was like, just another 5 hours work and I'm going to discover this next thing. You compound that over time, you become your trading edge. And over time, you learn how to frame that, position that within the right companies, and you learn how to manage your risk and execute on your trades. And it works for you. And it's no one wants to hear that answer because it's not sexy. Could I shorten that journey? Absolutely. But I wasn't fortunate enough to find people like your good self to be able to lean into and just lap up that trading experience. People were always telling it to me, but it was always the boring and non-sexy stuff that I needed to listen to. Takes time, takes effort, takes energy.
Okay. I'm going to completely bypass the compliment you just said because it's just going to inflate my ego. But let's go. Rich, who you are now, you're meeting Rich the mechanic, okay, who's just Googled how to invest and has seen this thing called trading, and he's like, "Oh my, I'm going to be a millionaire in a couple of years. I found it. Don't worry, guys, I've got this." What's the number one, short and sweet, the number one piece of advice you give to Rich the mechanic just getting involved?
Okay, so Rich the mechanic went to Google and he typed in how to invest, and what he got back was Forex, 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 Forex. Now, the one piece of advice I would have said to that guy, you want to invest? And I'll be like, yeah, I want to invest. Okay. So why are you trading with so much size that you're actually trading? You're not investing if you're putting on 10 pip stop losses. You are trading. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to be an investor. I wanted to learn how to make money work for me. What I ended up doing was trading. And I thought they were the same thing. They're very, very different. Very, very different. So I came into trading trying to invest, and I ended up getting a job as being a trader. And it was not what I thought it was.
Which is
And what I would
arguably more hours.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I would have loved to have said to myself, look, you're going into a market that investing is possible, but not the way you're going about it. Do you want to be a trader? This is what a trader is. You're using leverage, you're using stops, you're possibly using price action, you're using other keys that you won't be with investing. Investing is leaning into a little bit more to do with economics. Trading is more to do with the price action, getting in, getting out, getting paid. And mistakenly, I ended up being a trader. It wasn't what I was trying to do.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're almost warning yourself that, hey, this isn't what you're trying to do.
Initially, I wasn't trying to, but same end result, right? What
Mm.
do traders do that investors do? They use money, they make it work for them. And so what I thought is I was going to use money and make it work for me slower over a long period of time. Now I've managed to learn the skills of trading to be able to make money work for me over quicker periods of time. So with investing, it might take me 3 to 6 months for a trade to play out, or a direction in the market to start to turn, and that position to turn into profit. With trading, I might get 2 or 3 opportunities today, and it's 2 or 3 opportunities for my money to work for me a little bit faster. And it resonates with me and works a lot better with me. So I think personally, trading can bring a quicker, higher return than investing. Don't shoot me. That's just my experience of it
Your
personally.
humble opinion. Your humble
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
No,
for
it's
sure.
good. That's good. So let's talk about the future. We've talked about the past. Let's have a look at, and this is always a fun one because we're going to speak to the investor side of Rich. Now, do you invest?
No, absolutely
No,
not.
all trading?
All trading, 100% trading,
Really fascinating. Why?
because it's my strong suit. I believe that it's what can turn capital over quicker. I think it's what will give me the deeper pockets to be able to invest down the road. Um, if you invest with a pound, what's your returns? If you trade with a pound, for me personally, I know I have a skill set that's cultivated more towards trading than it is investing. Love to learn the investing side and sort of build position trades on higher time frame charts. But right now I'm able to trade. I'm trying hard not to go into some statistics, but trading is where I have the skill set and enjoy spending my time.
If you want to see Rich's statistics, look across TradeDelicious because he knows his statistics like the back of his hand, and he's got about 67 pages worth of statistics. So I know you're trying to avoid getting into that just because we'll be here all day, but I
Yeah.
appreciate that. But for anyone at home who's interested in understanding the meticulous way, keep your eye out across TradeDelicious because Rich, he does talk through it a little bit. So you don't do any long-term investing. That's really interesting to me because I do. All right. And while I have an edge in trading and I can outperform uh, my long-term investments with trading, I see it as a risk management, right? If I have all my eggs in my basket and it's all on me to perform, well, those times when I don't perform, and who's to say when that is? You know,
Yep.
from tomorrow, I might not make money for the next 6 months. It's the
Yep.
possibility in trading, right? It really is. I that scares the hell out of me, right? Because at least I can allocate some of my portfolio to some other assets, whether it's individual equities, whether it's an indice, or whether it's even a commodity. But that's kind of my diversification risk management, right? It's if I don't have to perform, it's worst case scenario. If I don't perform, I can still perform through other markets. But you are all eggs in one basket. Sorry if I've just scared you, but are you all eggs in one basket?
I diversify my trading. So what I do is I have my typical trading approach, and then I said, look, this could suck. This could go for a period where it just doesn't pay. I've been through those periods. They suck at the time. I come out a better trader. They always work in your favor. So I said, look, I don't want to go through these periods where it could be maybe a week, maybe a month, maybe even a quarter where I don't get paid. I don't mind saying it. I mean, I went through a 7-month drawdown of just being break even, and that's 7 months of not earning an income. And it doesn't help. It didn't help me at the time grow as a trader. But reflecting on it, it's not that bad. But I don't want to do it again. I mean, like, so what I do is I diversify into other strategies. So right now I trade 2 different approaches. They're very uncorrelated. I trade Forex majors and I trade the DAX, and they just couldn't possibly move in the same way. And so what I do is I allocate a little bit of capital to one and a little bit of capital to the other. And the goal here is to bring between 3 and 5 different trading approaches. And I'm now very deep into my 3rd approach, but I want to bring between 3 and 5. And then the idea is have a bigger capital and just use that in proportion. And just look to, we'll jump into some figures, just look to make 3 or 4% a month. And for those of you that look at that and go, there's no way I would do this for 3 or 4% a month. 3 or 4% a month, if you can do that, you will have doors open to you for the rest of your life. You will be in incredible positions. So for me, that's roundabout where I perform. But what I want to do is get that result from 3 to 4 different techniques. It allows me to bring my risk down through each approach, and then hopefully the drawdowns are a little bit more manageable. But that's the goal.
Right. God, I love traders. I just love seeing how you diversify your risk and the way your mind works. We chat with Boris last week, and he allocates his positions percentage bias in the direction. So obviously, he's a cryptocurrency trader. If he's bullish on crypto, he'll be like 70% long positions, but he'll also have 30% short positions.
Nice.
Even if he believes we're bullish, just to mitigate that hedge, right? He runs like a traditional hedge fund. Whereas I will run like a proper portfolio. I'll have 50% over in equities, long-term stuff, 40% in my day trading, 10% cash. Like I'll operate in a very portfolio-based manner. And then I look at you doing, you're allocating percentage of your portfolio to different strategies, which operate at different times on different it's just impressive. It really is. I'm getting carried away, right? I'm really excited. But I'm gonna chuck us in a lightning round. All right, I've got 3 questions. Okay. I always ask the same 3 questions, and I want quick as possible answer, and then we'll come back and touch on them. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
1 book every trader should read.
Atomic Habits.
We'll touch on that in a second. If you could have dinner with any financial mogul, dead or alive, who would it be?
Honestly, it'd be a trading buddy that I had a few years back. He was a massive footprint in. We'll go into that in a bit.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's good. Biggest myth about trading you want to debunk?
That it's easy. Thing sucks. It's really hard.
I like it. All right, let's go back. Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Okay. I need to say this right or it's going to sound very wrong. I'm a master procrastinator. If I said that too fast, I think it will sound very wrong.
Well done.
So what I had to do, and part of my challenge with trading, was learn how to be the most efficient version of myself. And how I do this is through building great processes, routines, and working with some excellent people that just hold me at that level. Now, Atomic Habits was the book that just showed me how simple time management could be. And I'm still working on it, but Atomic Habits really elevated my organization as a trader. There's no good saying, hey, I can make 10% a month if you're in bed or you're on the toilet or you're just on the phone or you're running around the block or whatever it is you're doing. I used to go to the gym in the middle of London session. I mean, come on. I mean, like, London is open. There's huge amounts of volume coming in the market. I'm down the gym in the middle of my trading day. And I'm like getting back going, oh yeah, could have taken that trade. So Atomic Habits helped me prioritize my time, my routine, and build amazing processes. I live by processes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's speak about the financial mogul, an old friend.
So I guess I look at the people that put the biggest footprint on me in my development. Trading was a real struggle, and in many ways, trading still brings its own struggles. But there's just sort of these very, very few people that come along. One in particular, and they just lent a helping hand, and it was just enough of a little signpost to say, go in that direction, spend your time doing this. And that changed my attention, my expectations as a trader. And I went off and I started putting in the work. And until that point, I was full of the internet noise. I didn't know what the right work was. And so, like, forever grateful for the people that just put me on that right step. They didn't do the work for me, but to kind of reconnect with those people a few years later on and say, hey, do you know what? You left a footprint on my heart and I'm forever grateful for it. And that inspires me to be able to be that and do that for other people as well. Because there's a lot of people out there that are interested in just taking and gaining from others in the market. And I love the idea of giving back.
You should. You should. Those people who have influenced your journey, go back and tell them what they've done. You really should, because especially in the market and we live in and the things that we do, that's the reason. Well, you'd hope that's the reason that they did that. That's the reason they taught you, and I think they would. I think they'd appreciate it. There was a school teacher way back in school, right? A history teacher that I used to have, who I wasn't a big fan of school. I didn't really get on with the guy, and I didn't really listen to what he had to say. It wasn't until about 5 years later that I was in the trading world that I truly understood what he was saying. And he was the reason I always ask myself why. Always, it's him. He drilled that into me. I didn't know at the time, but he drilled that into me. And I've tried over and over to get back in touch with. I can't find him. I can't find him, and it pains me that I can't find him. Just to go, and I want to say thank you. I just want to go back, shake his hand, and be like, I don't know if you even know who I am, but you had this impression on me. And if you can get into contact with those people, I highly recommend you do. I highly, highly recommend you do, because they'll like it. You'll like it. There's no bad thing that comes from it, right? So yeah, just getting nice and emotional there. To go back and do that. All right, let's go with the final takeaway here. Right, let's get this wrapped up. What's the single most important piece of advice that you would give to a brand new trader watching this?
Okay, I've heard it said before that if you have great intentions, or sorry, if you have great plans or great goals, but you don't do anything to bring them from your future into your current moment, then all you have is best intentions. And so what I would encourage you to do is rewind this video, start at the beginning, go through it. And when Jordan asks an amazing mind expanding question, pause it, ask yourself, as if Jordan asked you that question, play that question through and talk it out loud. Journal about it. This is your opportunity to learn about yourself. This is your opportunity to expand how you operate, how you work, how you think as a trader. And you can take all this stuff and then you can take action on it and build amazing processes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Rich. It's been an absolute pleasure. Where can our listeners find more from you?
In the pipework, I will have my own little creative space where I will create content and document some of the ups and downs that I go through with trading. Just happy to put that out there and share that with the public. That isn't something that I'm ready to launch at the moment. So you can find me on TradeDelicious channel, working with some great guys on there, bringing forth some really interesting ideas, some themes. We're going to be launching a London session very, very shortly. We'll be doing coffee calls and live trading sessions as well. I'll be the host of that, and I'll look forward to connecting with you on there.
Beautiful. Rich, thank you for your time. Thank you for being on Traders of Money. It was an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Cheers.